Hello, we are back on Yakuza, Pirate Yakuza, and we're just going to have a playthrough of this and just talk a bit more about how I'm just loving AMD and my experiences on AMD versus Nvidia, basically. And Aloha. Alright, so how much might buy? I might buy that. Yeah, so as I said before, I mean, everyone's got a preference, you know. Obviously, I'm just liking AMD more, and there are reasons for it, which I'll get into. But generally, I just feel so when I got the 7900 XCX, that was literally the first graphics card I actually bought, which was brand new. I mean, my first PC when I first got into PC gaming, I got the RTX 3070 Nvidia GPU, and I got that off eBay because I paid I think it was literally £700 I paid for that, and I just felt obviously I used it, but I just felt like the more I used it, the more I was starting to feel I was sort of handicapped with it. And again, I thought the price I paid for it wasn't worth what the experience I actually got. It just wasn't worth it for me at all. In the end, obviously, I felt because I come from PlayStation, and then I started taking PC gaming seriously when I bought the Nvidia GPU because I obviously I didn't do a massive amount of research, but I'd done enough. I think a lot of people just think, Nvidia's the best, so you just go and buy Nvidia and you should be fine. And that literally didn't have enough VRAM. I quickly found out when I went to 1440p, I think, straight away, and I just found that as time went on, not even long after I got that graphics card, I was starting to get VRAM limitations with Forspoken, Hogwarts Legacy, and all that. So that wasn't really the ideal entry point for me in PC gaming. Now some people will say, well, you should have looked into it more, like about the VRAM, and yeah, definitely, but it's not exactly a user-friendly experience. I mean, if Nvidia would have actually started giving people more VRAM, sufficient VRAM at the start, I mean, I think it was like, what? I think it was like 6 or 8 gigabyte, was it? Uh, I know they had two different variations of it. You'd have to let me know what. I think it was 8 gigabyte, possibly. So long ago now. But it definitely wasn't enough, the 3070. And so basically, I was annoyed about that. And then so after I learnt my lesson from that, I looked at the AMD stack. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to take this PC gaming stuff seriously, I'm going to go AMD. I like the prices. I think I had a look at like the 3090 and I was thinking, why is that so expensive? And I didn't like the look of that. Like, what I didn't like the value I was getting. So I thought, well, I'm not going Nvidia again anyway because I weren't too impressed. So I just went AMD. I got the 7900 XCX. I even got a free game with it, The Last of Us Part 1. And I literally didn't regret it. Did not regret it whatsoever. My experience was pretty solid with it. Uh, Obviously, it weren't as good as Nvidia with the ray tracing, but I was happy with it. And as far as I'm concerned, like it was the first graphics card I bought, which was brand new, and it turned out I was totally happy with it. And then that was it. I thought I was on that since late 2023, and yeah, it did literally everything I wanted it to do. Only obviously didn't have the best upscaler, but for someone coming from console to PC, I didn't really give a fuck about that. I mean, so I've sort of come to a stage now where I like, uh, obviously I got the 4090 after that, and then I got the 4080 cheap, so I didn't pay that much for that. It was used again, and then at the end of the day, I just feel with Nvidia, I was getting, I wasn't getting the experience I wanted. Uh, for all the hype and for the prices, especially now with the fucking 5000 series, it's just totally turned me off it. And that is the honest truth. I've spent a lot of money on bloody hardware. I've spent money on monitors and all that, but I feel it's better spent on that rather than buying, say, a 5090 and all that crap. I literally, I'm at the point now where obviously I got the 4090, and yes, definitely, it's the most powerful graphics card I've got. But then I think to myself, well, going forward, I mean, I got it used obviously again because I just don't feel they're worth the price, Nvidia, unless you buy them used and you can get them cheaper. That's I mean, I'm not taking the piss. That is literally how I think with it. It's like, for me to buy Nvidia, I feel like I just don't feel it's worth the price. I mean, I do feel it's overhyped. A lot of people are going to get the ump, but as I said on this channel, I'll give you my true experience. This is my channel. I'll do what I want on my channel, and I will say it how it is. And this is from my experience. Uh, I wasn't too impressed with the drivers either with Nvidia. If anything, I thought I was getting more issues on Nvidia than I ever did with AMD on the XTX, and I had the XTX longer. I was running on that longer, and you did have a few months where they had some issues with their drivers, but they sorted them out. And I'd say the majority of my experience on AMD, the drivers were pretty solid. And when I got the 4080 cheap, I literally, maybe I was unlucky, I don't know, but it just felt like I was getting issue after issue with games. I was getting pissed off. I was getting crashes in games. I mean, this series here, this Yakuza series, I literally never had a problem with this game series on AMD. I literally never had crashes or anything. And, like a slap to the face, as soon as I went Nvidia, Yakuza 7, Infinite Wealth, they started crashing to desktop. And I imagine if it was one of your favourite game series, you're having a good time on AMD, everything's working fine with these games, and then you're getting crashes on Nvidia, and you're expecting a better experience because of the hype with Nvidia. Yeah, you're getting a worse experience, and it weren't just that game; it was a couple of other games, and so that's literally how I look at it. I mean, as I said, people are free to believe what they want. They can say, oh, I'm talking shit, I'm a AMD shill, but for me that is deflecting my experience. So I will say it is, and you got to think there's something up when I've got a 4090. Yeah, I'm still thinking, oh, I've gone to a weaker card, the 9070 XT, and I just feel like I'm happier with PC gaming. That is the honest truth. So, you know what I mean? I can't say that fairer than that, really. I mean, I honestly do not. I know, little present there. So that's how I feel about it. I mean, let's just get it through this. Took the picture. Yeah, but I do love the Yakuza series, and if I'm getting a worse experience on Nvidia when I'm expecting a premium sort of experience, it does make me question what is the point. I mean, if I'm paying more money for a product, I'm expecting a better experience. I just don't feel I've had that. So, I mean, if you go like PlayStation and all that, they use the AMD hardware, and I've often thought to myself, well, are AMD just are they more solid for gaming anyway because they're working with console and they have to optimize it more? Whereas Nvidia, they're still like, and I've worked out what Nvidia do in their games like Cyberpunk and all that. Their technology works really well, but I'm thinking in other games I've played, it just don't seem to work as well. And that's literally the experience I've found. What's happening here? Yeah, so I think it comes down a lot of it. I mean, a lot of my favourite games, without a shadow of a doubt, run better on AMD. I mean, the FIFA game. This is another problem coming up. I had so much lag on FIFA with Nvidia. This is when I had the 4080, and every time I put the XCX back in, it just felt smoother. And I don't know what it is. It's something to do with their drivers. I mean, and not, I know I've got the 9070 XC, and once again it feels so smooth. And this is meant to be a weaker GPU than the 4090 and all that, but it just feels like on Nvidia. It's I'm not getting the experience I feel I should be getting, and it definitely was better on the 4090 FIFA, 100% compared to the 4080, but it just didn't feel by as much as I thought it should be. Much better. I honestly felt it should be much better than, even though it was better. So, as I said, I don't really trust their drivers a lot of the time, Nvidia. I just feel, I just feel there's always an issue somewhere, and the reason I'm feeling that is because of what I've experienced. But I have worked out what they do. Like they will find a popular game like obviously Cyberpunk was their baby. They've put everything into that, and but the cycle's sort of coming to an end now. And now the next one might be maybe GTA 6 when that comes out. They've also already started work on GTA 5, putting all their technology in that. And then the latest one is probably Half-Life 2 RTX. And you know, I know what they do. They sort of find a game, and then they give you people FOMO for it, and then they want an Nvidia GPU just for that. But it don't really work with people like me because I always sort of look at the majority of games, and I sort of round it up. I sort of like look at the whole pie, the whole picture. They're getting a bit more tougher, these enemies. Let's just play that. Oh, have some of this. Oh. Alright, that's done him. Yes, as I say, that is just my experience of it. And yeah, so they do all that. They find a game like that. Indiana Jones is another one where they've just put their select some games, put all their technology in it, show it off, on X and all that, and then release a few videos. But I can see past that because, as I said, I got the 4090, definitely a good GPU. Uh, for the price I paid, I'd say it was more reasonable. But for the price, when I first got my 7900 XTX, it was like 1,700, and for the model I wanted, it was literally, I just thought, ah, nah, fuck that. I'm not paying that much. And this was after my sort of Nvidia 3070. And to be honest, when I first got my 3070, I wasn't really all that for DLSS didn't impress me. But it has got better recently with the DLSS 4 and all that. And then once I got the 4080, I did sort of grow to like DLSS more, and it was part of the reason why I got the 4090. But then I did feel I want to just try out the flagship. I want to get the more Asta as well, more performance. And for the most part, yeah, it was good. But again, when I think of the pricing, I think I could live without it. Especially when you're looking at the 5090 for 3,000. You know, you might be able to get a bit cheaper, but I just think with all the melting issues going on, how long is that going to last? Is that going to last 3 months? Then you've got to RMA it. I mean, I really can't be fucking arsed with all the issues with Nvidia I'll get, and that is the truth of it. All I want to do is buy a graphics card. I don't want all this fucking technology broke, either in games. I don't want to have to wait 2 to 3 months ray reconstruction and all that to come in the game. Because that's literally what I had. And at the end of the day, I might be missing out on some path tracing and all that, yeah. But I don't give a fuck about it. That is honestly, I think, because I've experienced it, and now I know it's just not worth it. That's what I feel. And obviously, not everyone's going to feel like me, but I do feel it wears off after a certain point, and then you just think, oh, I'm happy to go back to AMD, and you know, you're still getting a good experience, and it just feels like for the price I pay with AMD, I'm satisfied. If it ain't top notch in every area, I don't care. You know, see if I care. If I can't use path tracing, maybe I've got to turn normal ray tracing down a tad. It don't bother me anymore because it's still a better experience than console anyway. It's a far better experience, and FSR 4 is coming out, and I'm able to mod it into games. So, you know, I mean, I'm not just saying I like AMD just because of the brand. I've got legit reasons for it why I prefer AMD, and a lot of people are feeling like it. A lot of people are getting pissed off with Nvidia, and another reason is I don't like being taken the piss out of, so I will make a stand, and I will, if I feel these prices, even though I can afford the prices, I'm not just going to pay it just because I can afford it. I feel, as I said, if I'm paying for a product, it's got to be worth it. It's got to be worth that money. I always hold a product to what I've paid for it, and this is why I give AMD more leeway, because I just feel I'm not getting taken the piss out of them. I feel they're not taking the piss out of me with the prices. It is simple as that, really. I mean, I still look back now and feel I've got a free game with a 7900 XTX. It done everything I expected it to do, even more, because everyone was telling me that was shit at ray tracing. And it is worse than the 9070 XT at ray tracing, and obviously worse than Nvidia. But it actually surprised me in a lot of games where I was thinking I'll put the ray tracing on just to see. And at 4K it was actually still doing well with upscaling. And I thought, well, that is a really nice surprise to me. So again, that exceeded my expectations, and I still say I think it's a really good graphics card, the XCX. Obviously, you need to make compromises because when you put the Nvidia tech on, yeah, it's going to literally it will shit the bedding a lot. Like path tracing, it will definitely shit the bed, but it can do ray tracing. It just depends how much of it. how much of it is in the game, and so and it just feels like this is why I stick up for AMD a lot, is because I don't think they get enough people saying it ain't actually that bad. So someone's got to do it, and it turns out it is me who's going to do it. And I've had Nvidia, I've had AMD, and that is how I see it. So that is literally my, I mean, Jensen putting the prices up, taking away PhysX 32 and stuff like that. That does me no favours in thinking, oh yeah, I will go Nvidia again. That turns me off more. I just feel he's not doing anything for gamers, and I am a real gamer. I don't just care about fucking path tracing, ray tracing. I'm thinking, am I going to get the best overall gaming experience on AMD or Nvidia? And what price am I going to have to pay for it? I'm honestly thinking, going forward, AMD. It's literally that. I mean, UDN8, I'm 99% sure I'll be buying AMD for the foreseeable future. I'll get a flagship AMD. And that's as far as I'm thinking. I can't see me buying Nvidia again, because I just don't like how it's going with Nvidia. I mean in the UK, you can get a 5070 Ti for the same. It's a bit more than this, I think, where I live anyway. A bit more than the 9070 XT, but obviously I'm a flagship buyer. I mean, I'm happy. I think this is for the money you pay, it's good. But I just feel, as I said, I don't like the drivers on Nvidia. It feels like these games and other games perform worse on Nvidia, and I want the best experience for my favourite games. So that's what I'll end up thinking. And you know, obviously some people won't like these games and all that, so it's up to them. But I mean, Assassin's Creed does well on AMD, so it just feels like the majority of my favourite games do better on AMD drivers and their graphics cards. And I really like Sony games as well, and they always do well on AMD. So with FSR 4 coming on, literally changing the game, then yeah, it just feels like going forward for my PC builds and all that, it will literally be AMD. And Nvidia will, I really can't see me, because it feels like with Nvidia, I need to get the flagship, and I literally don't want to pay. It just feels like all their GPUs under the flagship are getting worse. You're getting worse uplift and all that. And then I'm seeing people I know that are getting black screen crashes, maybe frame gen not working properly. Not that I like that anyway, but all I'm seeing is more issues on Nvidia and less on AMD. And this is literally what I've experienced myself. So yeah, of course I'm gonna think I'm done with Nvidia, because I literally am. So that's literally where I'm at with it. Obviously it's not a video to rage bait Nvidia fans. It's just my honest experience. Like I'm not gonna change my opinion just because someone tells me, you know, Nvidia is better, or look, the SS4, look how great that is. Or you got Half-Life 2 with all the RTX features in there. It doesn't bother me. For someone like me, I think, well, I'd rather have a solid gaming experience and have a bit of path tracing and extra ray tracing in certain games. That's how I look at it. So it's pretty simple for me at this point. I mean, as I said, I've experienced Nvidia. It turned out for the prices going forward, I'm not interested anymore. And it turned out not to be as great as I thought it would be. These are annoying, these people. Ah, bloody... will that reach? This might be a better way. Yeah, that'd be a good move, wouldn't it? That's a cool move for Majima. The body doubles. Yeah, so I think anyone feeling like me, they just feel they're not getting the sort of experience. You think it's like, it feels like it's overhyped, the experience to a certain extent, and then if the prices are literally going up for Nvidia, then it just turns me off even more, because I wasn't totally happy with the experience in the first place, and now the prices have gone up, it's turning me off even more. So I mean, with AMD getting better with the ray tracing and all that upscaling, then you feel, it just feels like I mean, the funny thing is, I weren't even going to bother buying this 9070 XT, but then and once I started, I literally thought, oh, I might as well just wait until UDNA, when the next generation of AMD GPUs come out. But now I'm glad I got it, because I've literally just once again, it's reminded me that my favourite games are doing better on AMD, and it just feels right to be back on the AMD side. And I think things in life happen for a reason, and this is one of them. You know. So I'll just go with what I've experienced and what I feel comfortable with. There was just something about Nvidia drivers I don't trust. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I get these comments from people saying, it literally makes me laugh that I'll be talking about AMD, and then I'm definitely there's bots about it on Twitter, because what happens is I'll see a comment and they go, "Oh, DLSS4 is great." Not like it's great, but can I live without it? Yeah, easily. And then I'll click their account and they've got 2 subscribers and they just look like bots, and I think they're bots employed by Nvidia. And you get them on Twitter as well, X and all that. You get these random comments, and you look at their profile, and there's nothing about them. It's just like 1 or 2 subscribers, and that is it, you know. And you think there's something going on there. And as I've said, there's more. I don't care what anyone says. There are more of these Nvidia people about, like, fanboys. Just they stick up for Nvidia like you've insulted their brother, sister, or whatever. Like you've killed their dad, and then they get so angry, or they're just so entitled, like, to think you can't like anything else but Nvidia. So, and I do think to myself, yeah, there's definitely, because as I said, I'm a Scorpio, I can sense this shit. You know what I mean? I've got this unique ability, and I truly believe that. And I'm actually quite big on all these star signs, and a lot of it is true. I mean, I can sense all this shit. I've got a 6th sort of sense, and I know there's something going on, because without fail, I never really had it much with Nvidia at all. When I was talking about, like, saying something decent about Nvidia, as soon as you don't even have to slag off Nvidia. You just say, yeah, that was a good experience the other night on, say, Assassin's Creed or whatever, anything AMD related, and then you all of a sudden, without fail, you'll get a comment saying, "Oh, worse." better on Nvidia or Cyberpunk's better or whatever, and you just think, yeah, there's definitely something going on there. So that is how I feel about it. And everyone's got a right to enjoy something they prefer at the end of the day. And I'm not out here to wind people up, but I have made a channel to speak the truth about my own experience. That's what I've done. You know, I'm trying to. It's a mix of trying to help people out with PC gaming. So doing mod videos, literally doing what I feel. I mix content up, and yeah, just my truthful experience, as I say. So my plans going forward, I do think I will literally stick with AMD. I'll stick with a company I feel they've given me the best experience overall for the games I want to play. And that is as far as it goes, really. And let's face it, I'll be pretty stupid to go Nvidia again when I feel they haven't given me the best experience. I'm not going to be peer pressured into going Nvidia just because all these videos are showing me ray tracing, path tracing. I've got to the stage now where I've got a 4090 anyway, so if I did want to experience that, that's more than powerful enough to do all that. But as far as buying another Nvidia GPU, nah, I really can't see me doing that. I don't see any value in the 5000 series. All they've literally done is give you below the 5090, which is actually melting anyway. They've given you a slight uplift. You could say AMD have done the same thing. They've given you a worse uplift than the XCX, but actually he's pretty close and he's doing better than a lot of games, and it's giving you a better upscale at least. But the reason I accept that is because it is at a much lower price. So the price does come into it big time for me. If Nvidia were a lot cheaper and you're getting the path tracing, yeah, it would be more appealing to me. But I just don't. I look at their tier of graphics cards, and I just don't see the value. I don't know where to start with it. And then I think, well, I'm not liking experience much anyway. It's not as special as it's hyped up to be. I sort of get it just literally wears off for me, and it's like once you experience something, usually you think like 4K. I've experienced that, and I do still play at 4K depending on the game. But it's all like I've learned to accept, like I don't really need all that stuff if it's getting to the stage where it's getting to stupid prices, like almost what you'd pay for I don't know, a fucking car or something like that. Then you have got to look at yourself and think, is it really worth it? And for me, it isn't. Like 5090, it's literally the only one I'd probably want. But and again, then I'm thinking that physics 32 shit is going to give me a worse experience on Batman compared to my 4090. And I think little things like that. Then if I bought it, I'd start thinking of that, and I'd start thinking, why the fuck did I pay that money for it? And there's just going to be certain things that will make me hate the choice to make to buy that GPU. I know they will. So that's why I decided not to buy it, along with the other stuff like crashing in games like this and stuff like that, because I just feel they don't. Nvidia are not. They're focusing a lot on their big games like Cyberpunk and all that, but they're not doing enough in other games I like, because it did feel like they was neglecting FIFA when I had it, because it was literally going on for months where I couldn't play that it just felt laggy all the time. Stop, start, like it would speed up and like during a gameplay online, it would speed up and then slow down. Every time I'm taking the call now, I think, what the fuck's going on there? And I went on their forums, Nvidia forums, I didn't get an answer. Yet with the AMD forums, I always used to get an answer from them. I just feel like AMD are more for gamers, I'll be honest. I really do. And this Jensen's just selling all this fucking AI and ray tracing stuff. I know a lot of people like it, ray tracing, but it's in a certain game. It's literally depending on the game, and then where does that leave people where, for like me, where the games I'm liking ain't performing that well, so... Oh well, that is how I see it. So... And this hasn't crashed once on here, on my 9070 XT. And yeah, I was getting bloody crashes on my 4090 with it, so work that one out. And it don't look like they've updated it, because I checked in Steam. So that is a mystery, isn't it? Because when I'm starting to get crashes in the game, crashes the desktop, that really does wind me up. So it's just stuff like that. Well, I noticed that a lot on Nvidia, and it weren't just in one game. It was at HDR. So I use HDR in games. I don't use the Windows HDR. I use the HDR in game, and I felt like that was bugged a lot with Nvidia. So it's just certain things like that, and I just think, what am I paying all this extra money for if I'm not getting the same stuff I would on AMD? So whatever. But I don't think a lot of this gets talked about enough. So that's why I'm gonna say it myself. And that is the end of it, really. People can disagree. You can say, yep, you're talking shit. But as I said, you know what I mean. I will say what I feel because I truly feel it. AMD are not bad in all these games, like people like to tell you. Especially the Nvidia, you get Nvidia people that are good. I've talked to a few of them, but you do get the really defensive Nvidia people who think AMD should be bad at everything. It's not possible for them to do better in the game. So they've always got an answer for everything, no matter what you say. Literally always got an answer, even if it's a pathetic response. And I know this video will wind people up, but it's literally, as I said, I don't care about that. If I actually feel it's the truth, then it's got to be heard, and it's literally got to be uploaded to my channel, because I think my experience is important for a lot of people, because there's a lot of people thinking, should I start on Nvidia, or should I give AMD a chance? You know, they're literally worried about it, and before I went AMD, all I was getting was, they're totally shit. I'll tell you another thing. People were saying Nvidia was so bad to me that I didn't even think you could record your game while you was playing it. That's how fucking bad it was, like people giving me shit advice. But then as soon as I got AMD, I thought, well, this app's pretty good, this Adrenaline app. And it totally surprised me, that. So once again, it totally shocked me how good that was. And then, so there's just not enough information about it. Maybe it's starting to change a bit, I don't know. But because the 9070 XT is selling well now, maybe more people will give it a go. I know, definitely more people are giving it a go because I've spoke to people about it. So yeah, this is my AMD experience. I've spoken about Nvidia, the issues I've had. Without a shadow of a doubt, someone's gonna say, "Ah, well, you know, AMD are doing this bad and all that." You know, literally tell someone who cares because I wish I cared about all that, but I don't. I know what I've experienced, and maybe it's a Scorpio in me being stubborn. I don't know, but I know what I've experienced, and I know I've been happier on AMD. So you've got to ask yourself, why would I? I mean, I've had the best Nvidia GPU of the 4000 series, and I'm still liking AMD more. So you got to ask yourself. I know I'm not crazy. I know that I'm not crazy. You know. And as I said, I think going forward, it will be UDNA. So the next, whatever that's going to be called for AMD, I firmly think I will be getting the flagship. And I know the 6090 is probably going to be fucking 4000 or something stupid without Jensen's going. But I definitely feel it's going to be a reasonable price GPU for AMD. I'll probably end up thinking, yeah, well, it's getting better with the technology at that point. FSR 4 will probably be in more games, ray tracing will be better. Uh, as I said, I can leave that on the table. If it ain't as good as Nvidia's, I can leave it on the table because what I'm worried about is I'm more worried about getting a solid experience gaming, uh, and then just paying the right amount. As I said, the more I pay, the more my expectations rise. So if I'm going back to Nvidia, I've got to see more than what I've experienced because it don't literally feel worth it to me. It feels overhyped. So that's where I'm at with it. Pretty much where I'm at with it. And I really don't know. It's going to take a lot for me to consider Nvidia again. And they are definitely moving more to AI. And it does make you question if they will. I mean, I've heard that they're not even going to be a. I don't know if I believe it, but it wouldn't surprise me that someone's saying they might even stop making graphics cards in the future. And then you got this other company called Bolt Graphics, you know, BOLT, Bolt, and they're making these Zeus GPUs. They've showed it off, but there's not really enough of it, so I'm not too sure if is it some sort of hoax. I don't know, but I did get told that AMD, Sony possibly might be looking into working with them, so we'll have to see about that. I mean, so if Nvidia had stopped doing all that and just started focusing on AI and all that, because as I said, he's ambitious, this Jensen, so it wouldn't surprise me. And then people will literally have to go to AMD anyway, so it won't make a difference to me. Because if Nvidia went out of business tomorrow, I wouldn't shed a tear. Wouldn't bother me whatsoever. I know a lot of people would be heartbroken, but for me, whatever. I wouldn't miss them. Can't say fairer than that. I've just literally had more issues than enjoyment. The one thing I did grow to like was DLSS when I started realising the difference between FSR 3, because I first started noticing that on the 4080, but then I just felt it would, you know, especially now it just sort of wears off, and I think, well, now FSR 4 is on, you're getting better image quality, Obviously, he's still waiting for the support for it, but I've modded it into literally over 30 games now, and it is pretty easy to do. So that definitely, it's given me enough games to get on with, and I think eventually they will get supporting games. And I've looked up that the developers, I mean, it was supposed to be in the First Descendant, but they didn't do it for some reason. So it's not just that on AMD now, it's actually on the actual developers, because, as I said, GTA 5 didn't have the updated file to 3.1, which it should have. Otherwise, that would have worked in the game, because I literally tested that out myself. I updated the file, but the thing is, the Rockstar launcher that updates it again, and it resets it to the older file. So that toggle would have worked. Stalker 2 actually worked for me, so I'm not sure what was going on there. I was thinking maybe I actually updated the file on, because I was updating FSR on Nvidia, because I was trying to have a look at how good FSR 4 was on 3.1.3. So I think possibly I've updated it without thinking on Stalker 2, just to have a look, and then I've gone to AMD, the 9070 XT, because you can do that with DLSS swapper. So I was just literally updating a lot of games, and it turned out the toggle for FSR 4 worked in the Adrenaline app. It come up active green when I loaded Stalker 2 up, so that actually worked for me. But a lot of people were saying it ain't working, so you should try that. Try download DLSS swapper, update the file to the latest FSR file. It'll have it in the app, and see if it works, because I think that's what happened. So I got to experience that myself, and it looked really good. FSR 4 on Stalker 2. I even made a video about it. So yeah, I'm really happy with what FSR 4 looks like, and I do like, because I like a lot sharper image. I don't like as much blur, and obviously DLSS 4 is better than the DLSS 3. But I did notice a lot of games I was having to use balanced performance, even on Black Myth on the 4090. I had to use that, and it was blurry. I just felt Cyberpunk, you had to use but on the 4080 I was having to use performance for Cyberpunk on DLSS 3. So at the end of the day, it was good, DLSS 3, but then it wasn't perfect like people were saying. So before DLSS 4 come out, obviously it was the best upscaler, but before it all come out, everyone was like having a fucking wank over it, saying how great it was. And then it turns out, as I've said in my other videos, it weren't as perfect as people were saying. And then even you had people saying, oh, it's crystal clear and all that. Obviously fucking the fanboys and all that. So at the end of the day, as I said, people can wax lyrical about it to me, but it's just not going to change my opinion. And I think people, as I said before, try thinking for yourself rather than what people tell you. Experience AMD for yourself, Nvidia for yourself. That's literally what I've done since I went into PC gaming. Because obviously the first red flag was people telling me how good Nvidia was. And then I always think, because I weren't reading a lot of the internet stuff when I first got my 3070. And I didn't really look into DLSS. I just got Nvidia because it was the first thing I saw that they're more popular. And I never looked at DLSS to be that great. Then it's sort of like you start watching Digital Foundry and all that at the start. They sort of condition you to like it. And look for these things you got to look for in their videos and all that. And you focus more on it once you look at it, because they're telling you to look at it. And that's literally what they do. So what they do, That's another thing they do. They tell you to look for this and that in the video, and then they compare it to FSR. Then you start noticing the difference a lot more than where a lot of these average gamers are just going to basically be playing a game. They're not going to care about it as much. And obviously it's got to the stage now where FSR 4 is good. And I noticed it in certain games where you're doing magic spells and all that. But I know it certainly does bother other people more than it does me. But maybe they're the sort of people that have been on PC far longer than me. They've got to that stage where they're just sort of very picky. Whereas at that time I literally wasn't long from console, so I just accepted it. So yeah, I think I've pretty much said everything I want to say. I mean, it's definitely gonna annoy some people. But I'm not one to. I literally don't care. It's my channel. I'll do what I want. If I come across arrogant, it's not that. It's just I'm never not going to tell the truth of my experience. So for me, it's about helping the community out a bit on here. Like I've been doing that a lot with AMD mods and all that, because I know a lot of people ain't got the first clue how to mod these games. So I'm doing that. I want to share my experiences on the PC gaming. I'll do the odd mod video. I like doing mod videos with cheeky mods, as I'll call them. Pretty obvious what they are. If they get taken down, they get taken down. But for me, I think it's good to watch, really. I've played a bit on Gotham Knights, and I actually put a cheeky mod in that, and I thought that'd be fun to watch. A lot of my followers, well, my subscribers, I literally got a video, and I got like 16,000 views, like 16k, which is pretty good. And yeah, so a lot of my followers like them, so I got to basically make them happy and other people happy that like my channel. So I'm going to do a bit of everything to just try and satisfy everyone. I do want to do some more Mortal Kombat mods because I quite like doing them, and a lot of people like them. I've done some Final Fantasy mods, so I'm just trying to do a lot of this AMD stuff is taking up a lot more time. So still got a few. I've got so much I want to do on this channel. So, well, I do think these videos are good just to get my opinion across. I mean, a lot of people should know by now that I literally don't give a fuck. I literally don't. You know, I'll say what I want. People can have a problem with it, but it's not going to change how I think. I literally don't give a flying fuck if people. I'm not scared to say what I think. Let's put it that way. So, you'll always get the truth from me on this channel about my experience. As I said, I am a Scorpio. The truth can be overwhelming. It can rub people up the wrong way. But that is literally, I'm wired like that. I was born under the Scorpio star sign, and I can't change. I can't be any different. I've always been straight to the point with shit. I ain't got the patience. You see, the thing with me, I haven't got the patience bullshit. So if I feel someone saying something and I've not experienced that, I'll give them my opinion. If they don't like it, then that ain't my problem, is it? It's I mean, I won't force it on them, but I'm not gonna just sit back and say, oh yeah, you're right. I won't. because if I feel like I'm truly experiencing something, I will say it. So this is why I bring up all this stuff, because I think it's good information for people to know if they're getting the same crashing issues or whatever. I think it's important to know. I bring up a lot of this on Twitter, like if I'm getting a problem. Like for some reason, I did have a talk with. He's got a good channel, Terrorware. So in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, FSR is not working in that game, which I think is out of order. But it turns out that OptiScaler actually fixes that just by updating it to FSR 4. Because I know for a fact that when I updated it, I was getting more FPS with the upscaling. So I think that's quite interesting. But why isn't the developer? How can they? It's like they obviously DLSS works, and it feels like once again it's fucking being more biased to DLSS, not having that FSR working properly in that game. But as I said, mods are a lifesaver for me. They make games more fun, and I've actually got some enjoyment out of mods myself. And then obviously this Optiscaler mod is so good that it's actually fixed that in the game by the sounds of it. I'll have to check it out again myself, but I'm pretty sure I was getting more FPS. So it looks like not only is that making games look better, that Optiscaler with FSR 4, it's literally making the experience better for upscaling in that Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I don't remember a game where it's literally not even making your FPS. The only game recently was that Until Dawn game, but that was working before on AMD, so I don't know what's happened there. So I think it's AMD maybe needing to update that, because obviously all this new technology coming out for them will have some issues, teething issues. Well, at least I'm not paying like £3 for it, so I can accept it. Anyway, I think that will be it. We've got through a lot tonight, and I've enjoyed trying to level my character up, so I can even get all that now. That's what I like about this game. Attack. What's this? I can get. But so I've still got to get some more money. Yeah. 75. Can get that up. Anyway, thanks for watching, and let's hope I've not pissed people off too much. Okay, see you in the next one.